welcome to the Electronica Supply Frame stage. I'm Sarah Rich, the VP of Customer Success here at Supply Frame, and I have with me today Dave Youngblood, who was recently announced as the SVP and Chief Digital Officer of AVNET.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Dave, we've known each other a little while.
Yes, we have.
You've been in this industry a little while, right? You've had a couple of twists and turns along the way. Tell us a little bit about your journey from the start to finish, if you will, and how you got to AVNET.
Okay, so 25 years in the industry. I started in 99, and ironically, I started at TI making data books in the logic organization. So think HC, SN74, HC logic gates. I was helping to build the data books, right? So think now where we are.
Yep.
After my stint there, I would say, let me go back. So the standard linear logic business unit at TI, this is like the heydays of DSP for TI, right? And then wireless for TI, and then analog embedded for TI. So we were like the stepchild. Like no one wanted to sell SLL, so we had to be pretty aggressive in how we went to market. Of course, with channel partners, they were extremely important at that point in time for SLL, but also we had to get pretty aggressive digitally. So it's kind of like the founding of digital at TI came out of that business organization. I think we were the first group to do anything with Google. So this is like Google's a baby at this point in time, right? I don't want to age myself, but Google's a baby. TI.com was around a few years before that, and even before that, I think Marshall Industries had the first website in the industry.
Yep.
So spent some time in SLL, transformed the digital from just traditional print advertising, inside front cover, outside back cover, all the pages and millions of dollars we were spending on print advertising into a digital advertising that you could actually track return on investment. You can track customer behavior. So I did that for a little while, and then transferred down to the analog business unit where I spent a ton of time doing internal comms, external comms, and then advancing digital marketing. Ultimately, that led me into an internet marketing role at TI. So taking over TI.com, and about 2013, 2014 timeframe, we started making some moves digitally around e-commerce, right? Making sure our data sheets were syndicated across these new sites that were popping up everywhere, so customers could, find our information and engage with our information where they looked for information. So, and then in 2019, I left TI. It was a great run. Just the demand creation, the digital demand creation work that was done there is pretty fascinating. It was kind of the foundation to where they are today, and they're pretty advanced and really good at what they do digitally, right? So kudos to those guys. But I left, and I thought, you know what, I'm done. I think I'm done. I'm gonna ride off to the sunset and go raise my Longhorns and do all that great stuff. And I got a couple of phone calls. I think some people in this room kept calling me like every week or every month just to say, hey, were you thinking about getting back in? So I did. I got back in, did some consulting work for a few years, like right around COVID time frame, and then went to work for Murata to help the Murata Americas team build their digital strategy and build their digital team. And now those guys are off the ground and running. And then while I was at Murata, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was recently named the Chief Customer Officer at ADI, Annalise Sachs. So I went and joined ADI for 3 years and really worked on, first and foremost, kind of the integration of like MaximIntegrated.com, Analog.com. There's still some LT stuff out there. And then kind of a renewal web project and building and integrating their ADI's first e-commerce program with the ADI eShop. And that's become kind of pretty successful as well. So, and then, I wasn't expecting to leave, and I got this phone call, from someone around looking at an AVNET role. And I've always envied AVNET because of the position they have with the Farnell properties, the AVNET properties, stellar FAE community. They've just got a lot, and I could kind of see this vision. So when I got the phone call, I was all in and was doing everything I could to land in Phoenix.
So. That's impressive. Very impressive. Very cool. Well, and we've known each other a long time, as I said. You were one of the first, as you mentioned, to kind of see this transition from data books. He's talking about physical books, for those of you that have joined the industry more recently, all the way to where we are now.
Yeah.
And as you think about the changes that have happened over that time, there's been a lot in terms of how technology has played into how people design, how people go out and source components, things like that. Talk to us a little bit about what's that been like for component manufacturers and distributors on the other side.
Yeah, it's the evolution's been really fun to watch and be a part of because, I mean, bill of material crossing was done in Excel files 10 years ago. It might still be in Excel today.
Still
right?
today with
So, there was CPQs. I mean, pricing. The pricing elements with the state-of-the-art CPQ systems that are out in place in the market today are making it much faster to transact. Of course, the e-commerce engines across whether it's the channel distributors or even the suppliers who are spending a lot of making a big investment in e-commerce as well. So the landscape has changed, and I think it's almost ramped up even more probably post-COVID, which is fascinating to watch. And then of course you look at design tools and simulation tools and the advancements that are going on there, and then engaging an engineer at their desk through things like Altium and some of the design tools, and with the supplier design tools as well. So it's been a quick ramp. We've I don't say we've matured, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about that maturity, right? You know, you think about, we've heard that word digital maturity. It gets used a lot, but as we know, there's a huge spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And what companies may think of themselves as digitally mature may not be the same.
Yeah.
You know, people have different purviews. How do you compare our industry on that digital maturity spectrum to others?
Yeah, so for sure we are not selling tennis shoes.
Okay.
Right? We
Got
always
that.
get
No
compared-
tennis shoes,
no
everybody
tennis
got
shoes,
it.
no teddy bears, nothing like that.
All right.
We're not a consumer business, so we're not Amazon. I think everyone wants to compare it to Amazon, and Amazon has absolutely set the standard for how people shop online, right? No doubt about that. So I think we've made a ton of progress over the, like I said, post-COVID as an industry. I do believe there's a lot more room for growth. I think there's more room for integration across design tools and commerce, and even CPQ. I think that's probably where it needs to go next, is kind of the total integration. Because at the end of the day, I think time to market is getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and engineers don't have the design cycles like they used to have, like when they were looking at data books. Or when they were going through parametric selection on multiple different sites to find the right components. Now they have all of that in one system. So we're moving pretty fast.
It is. That's a very good point. You know, we think about, all these things, technology helping us every day. It also makes us go faster. It also makes things, you're doing a lot of things at once. It makes for very complex days, right? Speaking of complexity, AVNET, just a little bit of a company there that has a few things going on. Talk to us about your thoughts and digital strategy. What does that look like for AVNET as a whole?
Yeah, so I'm on week 3.
Okay.
Maybe week 3.5. So I would say like my first 30 days, I am just learning and getting to know people and finding all the pockets of digital and digital innovation that are occurring across AVNET. And there's some really good work going on, right? There is, I look at some of the tools on both the procurement side as well as the design side and the commerce side at AVNET, and the speedboats and all the properties enterprise-wide. What I'm looking at next is, what are the right things to scale across the enterprise, and where can we scale across the enterprise? Do we need to integrate and upgrade an e-com to a single e-commerce platform? We've got multiple product information management systems, right? How do we make sure that those things are in line? So we're giving the engineer the right parametric data, the right cross-references when they're searching on our sites. As well as, we've got a good value to our customers with Element 14 Community and Paxter.
Yeah.
So there's a community element to it as well. So I'm kind of looking across everything right now, learning everything, and trying to figure out, what do we need to stop doing to be more efficient? What do we need to focus on to scale to more customers and be a bigger value for our suppliers? And then, in that efficiency, where can we find some savings that we can give back to the company? So, and that's what digital is all about. And first and foremost, it's the customer experience.
Yeah.
Right? How do we drive the absolute best customer experience in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good point on that, because we always think about, how do we make it easy to do business with us? How do we take the friction out?
Yes.
So I love the idea of you wanting to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm imagining the cowboy hat on, riding on his horse out there. But you're back. You're
I'm back.
here and you're all in. What are you most excited about?
Oh, you know, the people.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, it is, you know, we are relatively, for a big industry, we're a relatively small group of folks, right? And
True.
just being here, getting to see colleagues from the past, getting to meet new people and new colleagues with the AVNET, the team there. It's really just getting deeper into the industry and spending more time with the people.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely. We appreciate AVNET being a very long-time customer, long-time partner of us.
Yeah.
Really excited about where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm excited you guys are going to help us along this journey. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Great.